extend the season a little bit further. So anyway, that's the news on that. We asked that BP have a claims office in Destin and or in the area. BP claims office has been open. It actually opened on May 15th, Okaloosa County, 348 Southwest Miracle Strip Parkway, Suite 13, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Offer SBA and bridge loans to Destin businesses or area businesses for that much. One of the things that still, we were asking for was that they look at SBA loans to charter boats, because vessels are not a fixed asset according to what the federal government is saying. So that's one of the things, and you can see us here in this meeting, that we were asking for help with. Can you please look at these kind of issues and see what we can do to help? Don't know, do we want to say anything about possible SBA loan office?
We're hopeful that they'll open their office adjacent to the Destin Fishing Museum in the Senior Center. We've got a information center there, and they're coming in this morning around 8 o'clock to see if that's going to fit their needs. So it would actually be right across the street from the community center. And they would be open, we don't know the hours, but at least 8-9 hours a day to assist individuals that need help. So hopefully that works out, and we'll know more probably by noontime.
The next thing that we had asked for was to hold vessels of opportunity in Destin. BP has initiated and asked and trained over 150 to 200 fishermen to become part of Vessels of Opportunity. The last I had heard, it's somewhere between 25 and 30 boats have actually been hired. When these boats are hired, they get a fixed amount per day to sit at the docks, but they cannot take charters out. So that's a lot of money that BP is spending on these folks, and hence that was some of the confusion about the charter boats. Since those folks cannot take charters out, some of them felt like it was better to tack on the 2 weeks at the end of the season so that they could take advantage of both pockets of money. Anyway, next item, military be included in the Okaloosa County Local Action Plan. Greg is going to talk to you in a minute about the task force that was set up by the county. And one of the things that we really wanted to do is to make sure our military was sitting at the table, and I'll tell you why. Back in the 80s, I was on the Military Affairs Committee in Destin, and there was a boat called the Chesapeake. And out at Hurlburt Field, they were actually dumping fuel and oil into the water, and they had the little skimmers, they had all the booms out there, and they were testing what actually happens. The military has had plans for oil spills and disasters like this for years, for 30 years. So one of the things that has to be a request actually by the President of the United States to allow the military to work in a situation like that, it has to be done. So we had asked some of our federal officials to please allow the military to be at the table, and that did in fact happen, and they did share the plans. One of the things I will have to tell you here is that we have been accused of having a Cadillac plan for our rooming and cleanup procedures. Well, folks, we've got a Cadillac beach and a Cadillac harbor, so you darn tootin' we've got a Cadillac plan out there. And I'm going to let Greg talk to you about the plan.
As Sam mentioned, we've had, under the emergency management folks, Public Safety Director, Nina Volane, they called a task force together of a number of the stakeholders, and it was, as Sam mentioned, it was really important to get the military at the table. And they, in addition to the military, they brought their consultants to assist us in understanding, because they have already had plans if there had been a spill on Eglin, it would impact our waterways. So we really needed their insight. We had fishermen there, the Coast Guard, fire departments, law enforcement, just about the health department was at the table, all helping us come up with a local action plan. BP initially has given $25 million in block grants to Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and the state of Florida. They gave that into DEP, and DEP then charged the 7 counties with coming up with a local action plan that would augment the plans that BP had in place. And so this task force was designed to look at what BP had planned to do and enhance that. One of the things that the county did immediately was they hired coastal planning, who had been working with us on the East Pass. They had just finished up the inland management plan. They have studied Northern Point, so they really understood the East Pass like the back of their hands. The currents, the flows, what it does and what it doesn't do, and they had modeled it extensively. They then teamed with the Eklund consultant, H2O, who had a lot of hands-on experience with booming and understanding how to protect this pass. Because when you look at the BP plan, in our opinion, it just was not going to work. It was just not going to stay in place. What we have here, and it's a little confusing to see, but the orange is actually a series of what they call chevron booms that is geared to capture the oil as it comes in and contain it in this area as well as in this area. Then you bring the skimmers in and skim the oil and transport it off-site. The red things are supports and ropes that's necessary to support the boom. The East Pass is a very, very complicated pass, and the currents out there are tremendous. And the design of this was critical to make sure that it can stay in place. In addition, there's booms proposed for the harbor itself, if it's necessary, to protect the harbor. This is on the north side of the bridge, and we also have booms planned for the north side, again, to capture the oil, skim it off before it gets into the bay. The component that we were working with on the local action plan, and what I really liked about the local action plan with coastal planning, in addition to the boom plans, it looked at both offshore, nearshore, and onshore responses. And where I've been frustrated with DEP's reaction to that is they want to hold BP responsible for the response plan, which is all fine and dandy if in fact BP does what they're supposed to do. But if they don't, it's going to be an impact on our beaches, on our environment, and our economy. So they have basically carved out the offshore, nearshore, and onshore components. Secretary Mike Soe with DEP is a very bright guy, helped the Tampa Bay recover from the 1993 oil spill they had. In my mind, a different animal, not the same volumes, not the same intensity that we're experiencing here. In his mind, it's if we get oil, it's going to be an oil sheen, tar balls, or globs of oil. That's what they experienced in Tampa Bay. I don't think that's what we're going to see. What Dino Villani, the public safety director for the county, went over to Louisiana on Thursday, in Alabama on Thursday, to see what impact on their shoreline has been. And they're not seeing tar balls. They're not seeing oil sheens. What they're seeing is basically burnt oil that has been sprayed with these dispersants, burnt, and then a reaction with algae. It almost looks like what Nino says is a dried up raisin. It's not really hard, it's not really soft, about the size of a raisin, and it's around the water column, okay? Which is a concern because booms work if it's on the surface. You can skim that up. If it's dispersed through the water column, it's not going to be easily grabbed with oil skimmers and or in booms. But that's what he saw in Louisiana, that's what he saw in Alabama. So what we see, if we see oil, maybe a totally different animal. But again, we have to use the technology that we have. And to give you an idea, there has been over 4,000 suggestions funneled into the emergency management, the command center, as it relates to different alternatives, different techniques that would assist the states and the federal government in dealing with this disaster. And they're analyzing that. So they are completely overwhelmed. But every time we get an idea, that we make sure they get into the emergency management and it has to flow up into a Mobile command center. One thing that frustrated us last week was